Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singer-songwriters and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest was born in a small town in the Philippines. Her passion for music started in karaoke, singing contests, and Sunday worship services. At 16, she embarked on a life-changing journey to reunite with her mother in Edmonton, Canada, where music became her constant companion in an otherwise unfamiliar environment. Driven by a deep sense of representation as a woman of color, she strives to empower her listeners with her music, sparking meaningful conversations and making them feel seen. So, let's spill the tea with Haidee Manansala. Welcome,
Hi,
Haidee.
everybody. Thank you for having me, David.
I hope I pronounced your last name right. I know I got your first
Yes,
name right.
yes, that was spot on.
Haidee, welcome to the show. Thanks for doing this with us. My first question for you is coming from the Philippines, and I know your mom preceded you coming to Canada.
Mhm.
Philippines to Edmonton must have been quite a shock because in the Philippines, it's always beautiful weather. Edmonton, I mean, I love Edmonton. I've got family in Edmonton. I've interviewed lots of people from Edmonton, but
Right.
Edmonton is not known for its balmy, warm weather. So,
No.
how'd your mom end up there, and what was the culture shock like for you when you arrived?
Yes, so originally we actually moved to Fort McMurray, which is
It's even further
even
north.
even colder. And we actually moved November of 2015.
Oh,
So
wow.
when we landed, I think the jacket that I was wearing, I still own it to this day, but it's only like for spring. And I only had like a thin jacket. But then when we left the airport, it was minus 19.
Wow.
So that part was, I really had no idea what that temperature feels like. So it was very shocking. But the most part that was um, new to me was I've always spoken English like my whole entire life. It was
Hmm.
taught in school in the Philippines, and um, I actually, even growing up, was better at um, writing essays and writing everything in English.
When you are breaking out into your career in a place like Edmonton,
Mhm.
and until recently, when I was educated about the music scene in Edmonton, I thought it was going to be all country music.
Right.
Silly me coming from the East. And I've got three brother-in-laws in Calgary, and they listen to country music, so that's what I thought everybody listened to in Alberta. I was educated that there's a great jazz scene in Edmonton as
Right. You're
well.
right.
And it seems like a very eclectic mix of music that's in Edmonton. Do you feel that breaking out in Edmonton is, I won't say easier, but it's the only word that I can come up with. Is it easier in Edmonton in a smaller community rather than trying to break out in Vancouver or Toronto or Montreal,
Right.
where there's just like thousands and thousands of young artists trying to break out?
Right. I can definitely say that it's more challenging than I had anticipated, and just coming to terms that the province that I'm in is heavy on folk, indie,
Mhm.
and country music. Um, and I feel it every day. Like I feel like being here, I have to fight for every opportunity that I get. But it's also very affirming because since we spoke, my debut record was actually awarded the 2024 Edmonton Music
Oh,
Prize,
cool.
which was,
Congratulations. Yeah, that's
thank you so
great.
much.
Yeah.
So that was juried, and I was up against, I think, a rock band, and the other was a hip hop artist. Um, and those are two, like, three different genres that
Hmm.
were
Very different.
very, very different. So I feel very grateful that that kind of affirms that, okay, I'm on the right track. Like
Mhm.
even if this is a very hard city to like break out in pop, that there is potential, not just like for me as an artist, but for our city in general to like grow together, you know? But you are right about that in terms of um just opportunities in other cities in general, because recently I just showcased Canadian Music Week, and I got into it in my first try, as well as North by Northeast. Whereas like for showcases here in the West, like Breakout West and province showcases, um, it's definitely harder to get in as a pop artist.
Mhm.
But um, I just my whole thing this year is keep your head down, keep working, and if it's meant for you, it'll work out. And if it doesn't, then you're not working harder.
That's it. You just keep when somebody knocks you down, you get back up, you dust yourself
Mm-hmm.
off, and away you go. Stay away from negative people. Uh, they they're not the kind of people that you want to hang around with. You
Mm-hmm.
mentioned some pretty big names, uh, uh, Ariana Grande, Celine Dion, Justin Bieber. If the magical music genie could come down from the sky and say, Heidi, I'm going to grant you this one wish. And you can open for any big pop star on the planet. Who would you select? Who would you want to open for?
I think right now I would really love to open. Can I pick two?
Sure. It's a
I
magical music, Judy. I think you get three wishes anyways.
right. I think I would really, really love to open for Sabrina Carpenter or Chappell Roan. It's just these pop singers right now are the same age as me, and I like these are like people who've worked 10 to 15 years before they really had their big break. And that to me is just very inspiring. And also like they're a breath of fresh air. It's the new era of pop. They're setting the standards, they're setting the sound of like the new generation and new future, and it would just be so cool to be a part of that. Like it feels to me that those two artists especially are leading the way to what the next era of pop is going to sound like, and that is very exciting.
When you look at their persona, their
Mm-hmm.
lives, and we've heard stories that Ariana Grande is not that nice to her fans. She's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
egotistical, a little bit arrogant. What is it about their lifestyle, their look, their music, their life that attracts you to them?
I think especially those two artists are just very their brand. When you think of like Sabrina Carpenter, you think about the blonde hair with the curly bangs in front, and then Chapa Rowan has like this crazy drag outfits that is like out of this world, but she pulls it off. I think just like being very confident in like who they are and who the music is. And, you know, to me, those two singers right now, their success from the outside looking, they've earned their success. And
Mhm.
um, yeah, I just think that they're very confident in who they are and their brand, and that is very inspiring.
The challenges for a young artist today breaking out, you've got to do a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
The artists that have managed to secure record deals, they've got a record company behind them. They've got PR people, they've got social media people, they've got marketing people, they've got roadies, they've got, booking agents. All of these things come with the recording contract, notwithstanding the strings that are attached to it as
Mhm.
well. As an independent artist, you need to do all those things yourself. Out of all the things that you need to do, what's the most challenging thing for you to take on at this moment?
I would say the marketing side of it and how to break out in streaming numbers. That area has something that I've struggled with for a long time. I'm not a very techie person. My band calls me a boomer because I can't. I
I didn't know boomer
yes.
was used as an insult in the tech world.
No, it's not. Well, I even have trouble using my phone. Like I just recently upgraded my phone and I've had the same phone before this for I think 3 or 4 years. And I refused to update that, like the iOS, because I was just insistent on not learning another like iOS. But yes, they make fun of me for that, which is I love I love just their silly little jokes. Um,
Well, as long as you don't have a phone with a rotary dial on it, I
mm,
mean, then
yeah.
then they could really say that you are either a Luddite or a boomer. Well, let's get into one of the songs that Heidi wrote. This song was released in May of 2024 and is about being stuck, unnoticed, and limited. Let's take a listen to singer-songwriter writer Haidee Manansala and her song, Out of Time.
Lightspeed chasing havoc like I'm on another planet. Skylines ready to take me away. I don't care where I'm going. Outgrew the place I've been. I'm running on trust. Do I have the guts to take it all in? I'll never settle. I'll take my time. Fast-paced desire in my mind. I can't go back, I'm running out of time. Tired of waiting for the stars to align. Patience is my virtue, and I keep watching another day go by. Stuck in a paralyzing race with my mind. And patience is my virtue. Realized I've been sinking 'cause I kept going against the tide. I ran from all my instincts 'cause I was working only to survive. I'm tired of taking caution. Hands up, down for the ride. Placing my bets on every regret, it's all on the line. I'll never settle. I'll take my time. Fast-paced desire in my mind. Can't go back, I'm running out of time. Tired of waiting for the stars to align. Patience is my virtue, and I keep watching another day go by. Stuck in a paralyzing race with my mind. And patience is my virtue. It's all I know.
That was Out of Time by Haidee Manansala. Heidi, tell us about the song. I gave a little description about it before we embarked on it. But what was the inspiration behind writing this song?
Yes, I was actually in Toronto for the first time when I wrote that song, and I met some really cool new producers and songwriter, and one of it is Sarah Bolton. And I came into the writing session. Am I allowed? You can edit this part, but am I allowed to talk about weed?
Sure, why not?
Yes, this is not a lot of people know this about the song, and I kind of keep it under wraps, but I guess we're going to talk about it today. The night before, my cousin, who is a local, was giving us a tour of downtown Toronto, and we were just kind of like in conversation about, um, they're like, here in Toronto, we have a 100 milligram edible. And just to like prove a point, she took us to a weed store to just like show that it exists. And we were like, oh my God, like I just cannot believe that that is even a thing. But we felt kind of bad that we just entered there for nothing. So we bought a joint. And then I think I had 2 puffs of that joint. And I did not expect to explore downtown Toronto for the first time. Really, really, really intoxicated.
You were wrecked.
Right. And then I saw the CN Tower up close for the first time while I was intoxicated. And so the opening line actually goes like light speed chasing havoc because I was in a car ride with my cousin after that. And then it says like I'm on another planet. And it refers to the CN Tower feeling like I was on a spaceship and it was like a yeah, I just felt like I was like outer space that night. And so the next day when the um my co-writer Sarah asked me what I wanted to write, and I don't know. And then I started talking about the story, and she was just like, wait, why don't we write about that? And then it just like kind of hit me how exciting it was to like, be in another city and feel like there's like more out there for me and for, like everybody that is feeling stuck. Um, and the song starts out kind of like, this is what I'm going through, and this is what it feels like. And I've been spending all of these years just like working away, and it feels like nothing is happening. But it ends kind of like it opens up to a new world, to a new era where, like the vocals are very free, the harmonies are very lush. There is a shift in the production that it turns out to be very hopeful that, that there's more out there for you. And it really is about, achieving your dreams and that point where is this going to work, is it working, but it is working, but what am I going to do next? And it kind of feels like, oh, looking around you and comparing yourself to your peers and feeling like, like I'm behind or like I'm out of time, but really you're not. And that's the shift in the production and vocals towards the end of the song.
Well, it's very uplifting. It's fun. It's light. It's bright. It's fresh. Heidi, how do people find out more about you? What's the website? What's the socials? Where's the streaming platform so they can find out more about your music and the gigs that are coming up?
Yes, you can find me on www.heidee.ca, and you can find all my socials there. On Instagram, I'm HaideXE, HAIDXE. On Instagram, it's HAIDEE, and on all streaming platforms as well.
We have been in conversation with Haidee Manansala. Heidi, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.